is the prospect that would surprise you at number 5? And Steve, you're the guest. I'm gonna let you take it over on the final topic.
So it's Tyler Smith. I know the previous
Mm.
regime talked about getting a stretch four. I don't know if this new regime would like want it, but honestly, he might be the guy behind Reed Shepard in terms of like who fits the most. Tyler Smith, about 6'10, about 210, 215, somewhere in there, and played for the G League Ignite as well. 43 games. Tyler Smith played with the G League Ignite, 13.7 points per game, 48% from the entire field, 36% from three on 161 total threes in the year, 73.2% from the free throw line, 5.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.8 steals per game, and then just under a block per game, 0.9. I mean, I think he fits what this team really needs. Is just that guy at the four that can stretch out, mainly shoot from three. Tyler Smith kind of fell off like later on into the year when teams in the G League started to realize like, hey, this is the only guy that can actually legitimately space the floor out on this team. So we need to start guarding him a little bit more. But I mean, he still maintained good efficiency. And with all the G League guys, even with Madas, like we got to give him a little bit of a pass just because like they were so bad. But I think Tyler's being slept on the most. And I just recently again listened to a Mavs draft and James Barlow, and James had him at 7, and he said that same thing. You know, I think Tyler's being slept on the most because he is like the legitimate 6'10". He can actually stretch the floor, and he has more shot blocking chops to him. And when he was averaging like 1.5 for a while, and then they kind of took him out of that role and put him out more in the perimeter there. But that's another guy that would surprise me. But the skill set works, and again, I wouldn't bet money on it. It would surprise me, even if I understand like the fit and the reasoning why they would do it. And again, young kid, 19-year-old kid, you want to bet on the young upside dude.
So do you think that drafting Tyler Smith at 5 could be kind of like, I mean, I think Asar was the pick at number 5 anyways, but like when I think of Tyler Smith, I kind of think of Taylor Hendricks, who I liked that I liked last year's draft. Do you think like drafting Tyler, I mean, I guess it's not Troy Weaver, so that question doesn't really make any sense, but I was thinking like you draft Tyler Smith because you missed out on a Taylor Hendricks who I thought coming into the draft made a lot of sense for the Pistons at number 5 at
I
that.
don't think it's necessarily like you missed out, but you're trying to find the Asar and Cade complement,
Mm,
and the guy that can play with who you still have there. Like, can he play with Duran? Yes, because he actually stretches out the floor and he doesn't need to operate down low in the same spaces where Duran does either on offense or on defense. He could actually like come over on the weak side and block a shot, unlike Duran. Yes, that is shaded Duran. If you listen to my podcast, you know how much I break down Duran's lack of defense. Can he play with a Jaden Ivey and a Cade Cunningham? Yeah, because he can just run pick and pop with them, or he can run that driving kick with Ivy and stand in the corner and knock him down. Probably already a better shooter than an Isaiah Stewart. And hey, he can actually play with an Isaiah Stewart too because he's bigger than Stu and can play the 5 there if they wanted to go that route. And again, Asar and Tyler Smith, both guys that came from the OTE development as well. And Asar, you wonder about the defense, or you wonder about the offense, but you love the defense. Tyler Smith, you kind of wonder about the defense, but you love the offense. Sounds like perfect complements to each other.
it really does. So my surprise pick at 5, and I'm going with the Kentucky guard. It'd be Rob Dillingham, and I say surprise because I think there's a chance that the Pistons just kind of fall in love with him because of what Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickly are doing for the Sixers and the Toronto Raptors. Like Quickly looks like he looks like a pretty solid player for the Raptors right now. I think he's with the Raptors. He averaged 18, almost 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, almost 7 assists, and almost a full steal per game while shooting 39.5% on 7 attempts from the three-point line. I think there's a chance you just fall in love with a Kentucky guard because for the most part, they have made out in the NBA. And with Rob Dillingham's ability to create his own shot and just be a bucket, it does kind of make sense, even though he is a little undersized at like 6'1", 6'2", but Cade's 6'6", Simone Fontecchio 6'8". you might bring in like a Nick Claxton, or maybe you stick with Jalen Duren, who's close to 7 foot, and then you can play Asar Thompson. You still have size around him that can make up for him like that. Even though I know he's not the defender, but he's a guy that can just go out and get you a bucket, which is also something the Pistons need. But Zach, who's your surprise pick at number 5?
Surprise pick, the man, the myth, the legend, Bronny James Jr. at number 5.
Okay.
I'm totally just kidding. The guy that lied about all of his size and his weight at his combine. No, my surprise is not trading the pick. That's my surprise. If they don't move this, which I think they really need to do, because all the guys that we've talked about, I think, are all guys that can technically be reaches on. Like if you want to get the power forward and was it Tyler Smith? Like if you want to drop back, I feel like you could really drop back for that. And I think that could be a home run hit of a pick falling at like 15, 16, or 17. So that's my surprise. It's not a person. I mean, I take Bronny. That means we get his dad. Got 2 years out of him. Like, fuck it. But I don't see them not moving this pick somewhere else, because it's a big reach for us because of all the things that we need as a 14-win team. I think that we can get more out of this draft because, like I told you, Lance, I think this draft, other than Alexander Sarr, I think everything is kind of mid together. Like all the talent is kind of equal to itself. All these guys bring like mid-tier talent and the things that they bring with their intangibles to whatever they do and what their skill set is. I just don't see anyone other than maybe Alexander Sarr being a peak player. So I think going back in this draft would be more of a win than anything.